Fun fact, if you were more outraged about Donald Trump tweeting at Iran than you were about Obama sending them buckets of cash and trying to help them skirt sanctions while lying to the American people about it, you might be a raging hypocrite. Hey guys, I'm Brittany Hughes, and you're watching Reality Check on MRC TV. And over the weekend, Iranian President Hassan Rouhani threatened America and told us not to play with the lion's tail, warning us that war with Iran is the mother of all wars. Now, nobody much cared about that, but the left predictably exploded on Monday after President Trump responded in an angry tweet directed at Iran. It read, "To Iranian President Rouhani, never ever threaten the United States again, or you will suffer consequences, the likes of which few throughout history have ever suffered before. We are no longer a country that will stand for your demented words of violence and death. Be cautious." Super presidential? Not really. There are much better avenues of communication available to an American president than late-night social media. But let's just set this on the stove warmer for a couple of minutes and travel back to early June when this happened. When news broke that President Obama had actually tried to help Iran skirt sanctions by giving them access to the U.S. financial system so that they could get their hands on a ton of cash. Remember that? Here's the gist. Iran had buckets of oil money sitting in frozen accounts in a bank in the Persian Gulf. Now, under the new Iran deal, which lifted certain sanctions, those accounts were unfrozen and Iran could finally get to its cash. The trouble was that that money was in reals, which are really, really hard to convert. So the Obama administration tried to help Iran on the down low by letting them run the cash through a U.S. bank, convert it into U.S. dollars and then euros. Except that process goes against financial sanctions, something they'd explicitly promised they wouldn't do. And the only reason this whole scheme didn't go down is because the two banks that the Obama administration approached to actually process the transaction declined out of fear that their reputations would be compromised by doing business with Iran. Now, when the administration was later questioned by Congress about whether they'd keep financial sanctions in place under the new Iran deal, they said yes, without ever disclosing that they had already tried to help Iran get around those very sanctions at least once before. But apparently all of this was just too complicated for liberal brains because they just poo-pooed it right along. The left-wing media barely even talked about it. Some networks avoided the story altogether. There were certainly no consequences for any of it. A Democratic president tried to help a state sponsor of terrorism get their hands on piles of money through the U.S. banking system, then lied to Congress and to us. And only conservatives seemed to care. Now, fast forward less than 2 months later, and the left apparently thinks that the world is about to implode because Trump sent a tweet in defense of America. So listen up, because this is very, very simple. If you're more upset that Trump sent a proverbial middle finger to a country that hates us on social media than you were about Obama sending them gobs of money and helping them get around sanctions while lying directly to your face about it, I suggest you check your outrage. Because I would take a president that posts dumb tweets in favor of America over a president that actively conspires against it any day of the week. And that's your Reality Check, America. Subscribe to our YouTube page, like us on Facebook and Twitter. Stay sane out there.